for my people in Roku and my people on social media, please give me a comment when you get on because for 26 minutes now, it looks like I have only been streaming on LinkedIn. So I have just gone in and reset the parameters to set everybody up. So guess what? I will be starting the first 20 minutes earlier. So I'm going to unlink my LinkedIn and I am going to go forth with the other platforms. But I'll be back on another time, LinkedIn. Thanks for your audience. All right. So let's see who I have here now. All right. What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Sonia, with all things football from a lady's perspective. Let me message my platform host to see if everything is up and running. You guys, I was all hyped. Let me see if I'm on live now. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm going. Gonna start over, guys. Hey, everybody. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, so thanks so much for joining me. I done did like a whole 20 minutes. I see the views going up now. Hey, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. I am Sonia, your host of All Things Football from a Lady's Perspective. Sometimes you just have to laugh about this stuff. You guys, I have been like on all these other platforms and it was not streamed to you guys. So I think I'm set now. Shout out to my production team, Northeast Sports Production. Thank you guys. Thanks, Linda and Mac, for this opportunity. This is the week 11 recap and also college football week 13 predictions. Happy Thanksgiving to one and all. And I'm so glad you guys could join me tonight. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Those things happen, but I'm here now. All right, week 11 recap. And first of all, I have a special guest that wants to say hello. This is Lawson. And he's not wearing his Panthers jersey tonight because we're waiting on another win. I will get to that in just a moment. But this is my first son, Lawson. He just wanted to say hi. And he wanted to tell everyone happy Thanksgiving. So let's go ahead and start. The Thursday night football. The Thursday night football kicked off week 11 with the Bengals and the Ravens. And so, thanks everybody for letting me know I'm on. The Ravens won that matchup 34-20 over the Bengals. And you guys know they are always down and dirty up there in the AFC, but they got it done. Ravens are now 5-5 at 500, and the Bengals are 8-3. Now, the breakdown goes like this. First of all, Joe Burrow shows up to M&T Bank Stadium with his wrist wrapped. He's not on the IR, and he actually plays up until right before the halftime. And so he went out when he could not even grip a ball anymore, let alone throw it. But not before completing a few pivotal stats. In the first quarter, Cincinnati scored 3, Baltimore had 7. The second quarter, Cincinnati had 7, Baltimore had 14, and then Joe Burrow left. Joe Burrow had 17 passes and completed 11 out of those 17 for 101 yards and 1 touchdown. Lamar Jackson, who played the entire game, has 16 out of 26 passes completed for 264 yards and 2 touchdowns. Another leader, Joe Mixon, 16 carries for 69 yards rushing. And Odell Beckham Jr., who did look like he had a little bit of an injury there, but he supposedly is okay. 4 receptions for 116 yards. Now, the Bengals are being investigated because, like I told you, Joe showed up at the stadium with his wrist wrapped, and he was not on the IR list, and he played. So we'll see. He just has now season-ending injury. He has a torn ligament, which will require surgery, and he will be out for the remainder of the season. So we wish Joe is like one of my favorite players. We wish him nothing but the best in his recovery. Let's run through these Sunday night NFL games. Sunday games. And then we'll get to some more NFL news. We'll talk about college rankings, and then I'll give you back your night. So, a lot of games on Sunday were extremely close. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Browns game, sans Deshaun Watson, DTR, got it done. And that young man, it was his first real start. We've seen him like a time or two here or there. He cried, you guys, and I don't blame him. And I think they said he had just celebrated his 24th birthday. And what better present than to come into the NFL and get your first win? 13-10 over Mike Tomlin and crew. Browns getting it done. The Raiders and Dolphins game, they are saying that Devontae Adams and all of them are running that team. Coach Pierce is hyped up out there and everything, but they came into Miami and Tua had that work for them. 20-13 in a nail biter. Miami, then the Fins swim on. Chicago Bears. Can you believe they pulled all the way up? Quarterback is back, and it's an NFC North matchup. Lions and Dan Campbell. Bears like to have them. 31-26, Dan Campbell over those Bears. Tennessee Titans trudging on. 14. Jacksonville Jaguars 34. Y'all know my word, mollywopped. The Chargers and Packers game was extremely close. Separated by a field goal, and the Packers got it done 23-20. The Cardinals, Kyler Murray looking good on his return. Only 16 though. CJ Stroud is bringing that work. And CJ and company 21-16 got it done out there in the West. The Carolina Panthers. I'm wearing my shirt, y'all. Not only did Dallas fans come into Charlotte, and I heard it was a sea of blue up there. I didn't go, but they took over the game. They ran away with the game. 33-10. Panthers were what? Mollywopped. And with that loss, it now solidifies our sixth, not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but sixth losing season. It is so difficult to be a Panthers fan. Small plug about that. There is so much turmoil about, are we really trying to tank the remainder of our season? Is Andy not going to play? Now, I went on my podcast last week because I have a separate podcast that I do just for the Pantherettes and Panthers fan. In fact, it's not even a podcast. It's just like a game recap and just like, trying to engage in everything. I really felt like Andy Dalton should be playing at this point. Like, why are we even risking Bryce's safety at this point? But some Panthers fans were like, no, girl, it's not Bryce. And it's not Bryce. It's that horrible O-line. And we're taking a lot of injuries. And we've gotten rid of so many good players that now I just feel like Bryce's talents are being wasted until we can get better protection for him, because this young man is getting sacked in the pocket. Forget coming out of the pocket being a running quarterback. The O-line is collapsing. Like, they're almost assisting with the sacks. So I digress and move on. Thanks for letting me vent. In a shocking turn of events. Now, I was on a podcast Sunday with Mac and Peg and a couple of other gentlemen on the show, and they actually were, there was a Giants fan. Mac is a Giants fan. And we talked about predictions. And I was like, well, I know Saquon Barkley, he would have to ball out, but Sam Howell, he just looks amazing for Washington. But you have to remember, it's not always about the quarterback. Like, the quarterback may be the leader, but the entire team is not led by that. Giants pulled up, y'all. And when I say they pulled up big. 31-19. And they got it done. Giants stood up big. So congratulations to them in that NFC East matchup. I think that's their third win, guys. Congrats, Giants fans. Tampa Bay and the 49ers. I honestly thought Baker would be more, but the 49ers are coming off, a little rest period, and they didn't disappoint. 27-14. 49ers got it done just like they always do. I don't even know if those, now that's a Super Bowl caliber team. I know Dallas fans are like it's us, and it probably is to a degree, but they look good. The Jets stomped on. Like the Jets are starting to look like the old Jets. 32-6, and then a scuffle broke out after the game. But before all that happened, a very similar moment to Damar Hamlin's happened during the game. Not a cardiac arrest, but a neck injury to one of their key players who was taken off the field by ambulance. So we definitely wish him well. And Damar did not suit up for that particular game. And I can only imagine the emotional toll that took on him, seeing those EMS workers and everything, getting that young man. But the good thing is he did get a thumbs up. He was alert and able to move his fingers as he left the stadium. But 32 Bills got it done over the Jets to 6. Let me take a sip. See, I'm still Panthers all day long. All right. The Seattle Seahawks and the Rams game. 1 point. A nail biter. How does these scores even happen? 1 point. Somebody misses a field goal. Somebody gets a safety. What happens? 17-16. Rams got it done over Geno and those Seahawks. Another close one. The Denver Broncos and the Minnesota Vikings. Russell is looking good, y'all. I know a lot of people are like, no, he's not who he used to be. He does have moments that he looks like his former self. And so 21-20, he got it done. He got it done over the Vikings. The Super Bowl rematch. Eagles and Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Did not disappoint. Close game the entire time. And all the way up to the end, I was just like, wow, looks like the Chiefs are going to go 4-0. The brothers, you know what I'm saying? The Kelsey Bowl. Travis is going to get that 4th win against his brother, Jason. Nope, not this time. Jason gets his first win, and it's 21-17, guys. And it is definitely a good game. And we probably will see those two teams again in the postseason because that's coming up really, 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 really fast. I have some news for you guys. So let's talk about the big news, first of all. The big news. The big NFL news. The stuff that everybody's like, what? How did it happen? Joey Bosa is on IR, guys. An ankle injury, and he's going to miss 4 games. This is according to Adam Schefter. And, the Bosa brothers, Nick and Joey, are, they're like a beloved football. We love them. They're great players. Speaking of great players, Drew Brees is telling folks, hey, guys, I can only throw with my left arm now. Not sure what happened to him, but he says that if he was ever in the league, that he could have come back, but only if he could use his left arm. So he's basically saying, I would be in the league right now if I could still throw, if I could just throw left-handed. We're like, oh, okay. So bigger things have happened. The Browns just re-signed Joe Flacco. So anything can happen. And we've seen Tom Brady retire multiple times and come back. So you never know. Retired, whatever, it matters none at all. Speaking of none at all and other craziness, and Drew Brees is saying that he can only throw one arm because he's limited somewhere else. Talk about a painful injury. Packers' Luke Musgrave has a lacerated kidney, y'all, and he's anticipated to be out for a minimum of 4 games. And if he comes back, it probably won't be until Christmas Eve against who? The Panthers. When the Packers play the Panthers. Now, him and Emmanuel Wilson both went down, and they're on injury reserve as of Wednesday. And that lacerated kidney sounds extremely painful. Now, they did all get the win over the Chargers, But Wilson himself left with a shoulder injury. And so we're definitely wishing them all the best in their recovery efforts. I told you guys this is the time of year that everybody gets all these injuries and the body is just, what it is. Now, let me just talk to you guys about a stat real quick about this Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles game. There's a reason why I said you guys will probably see them again, besides the obvious. Like, they are the top greatest teams right now in the league. The Jalen Hurts himself, this just is a testament to the defense of both teams. And I had the Philadelphia Eagles as my defense, so I read up some fantasy points this week. Jalen Hurts, only 22 passes. He made 14 out of them, and he actually threw an interception at a very critical time. But he had 150 yards. Patrick Mahomes, on the other hand, 24 out of 43 passes, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, and guess what? Patrick himself got an interception. So those defenses were standing all the way up. DeAndre Swift was another rushing yards top maker for the Eagles, 12 carries, 78 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Isaiah Pacheco, as we all know him from the fantasy as well, 19 carries and 89 yards. So that game was pretty good. In fact, the first quarter, they both were tied. The second, the Eagles scored nothing, and the Chiefs had at that point like another field goal, so they were now up to 10. The third quarter, the Eagles scored their 7 points, and the Chiefs didn't score anything. The fourth quarter, the Eagles scored another 7 points, and the Chiefs didn't score anything. And that was the finale. So Eagles got it done, 21-17. So congratulations to Jalen and company with all that going on. This just in, Kareem Jackson, he is supposedly facing a 4-game suspension for once again violating safety protocols within the NFL, but he is actually appealing that decision. He's like, hey, I really don't deserve that. And in fact, you guys should only give me 2 suspensions. But we'll see what happens with this Broncos cornerback, because this is not the first time this has happened. And folks is just like, okay, whatever. All right. Speaking of other breaking news, Sean McDermott is saying all of Taylor Rapp's tests have come back. He got a little small injury there. They've come back negative so far, and so he's scheduled to possibly have a shot to play against the Eagles next Sunday. So we will see. And speaking of Sunday and big things beyond Thanksgiving tomorrow, congratulations to Brock Purdy. He has just joined the elite quarterback class. Now, Brock Purdy has become the first 49er quarterback to post a perfect rating since Joe Montana and Steve Young in 1989. So he's breaking records from before he was even born, you guys. Now, I told you guys that Joe Burrow is out for the remainder of the season. And we'll talk about that in a minute to see who his replacement is going to be, because it's a young man, Mr. Browning, who I have not even heard of. What do you guys think is going to happen with that AFC North? That entire division is separated by 1 at the most 2 games with their ranking. Everybody's above 500. And that hunt list is getting longer and longer, because we know everybody cannot be number 1. So it's going to be interesting to see how that happens. Speaking of AFC again, the Ravens coach, John Harbaugh, said that Mark Andrews is likely out for the remainder of the season with an ankle injury. That's his left ankle, you guys. So he's out. Lamar is still trying to hold it down, showing improving up there in that AFC. And speaking of up there, the Giants are now predicted to have the best chance to pick the number 1 seed. Now, I'm a little confused because last I checked, the Panthers have the worst record in the NFL. But we'll see, because that pick is going to be given away anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But sometimes it does matter. Who knows? And like we say, the NFL, everything is always different and always what? Not for long. A little bit more news going for you guys here. It just never stops. And even things are happening behind the scenes, even as we are on right now. Now, pursuits are really hot right now. I told you that Joe Flacco got re-signed out of wherever he was. He never retired, I don't think, but he's out there as a free agent and not picked up. But he is with the Browns, y'all. So that AFC is like, listen, we are coming and we are coming hard. Speaking of AFC, the Jets are once again going to pursue Davante Adams. I guess this is going to happen in the offseason, or should I say postseason, which will be over really quickly for them in 6 more weeks. We're done with the whole season. They want him to reunite with Aaron Rodgers. And they're like, we tried to court him before and bring him in, and he wasn't for it. But we're going to definitely bring him in. And hey, if Joe Flacco can get signed to the practice squad, what's preventing them from getting Davante out there? Speaking of Davante, those Raiders are going wild, you guys. And I don't know if it's going to be that easy to move Davante because he seems to be in a captain leadership position out there and pretty happy. So we shall see. Now, De'Von Achane, who just came back from IR. Dolphins fans got a scare because once again, he went down with an injury. Now it's looking like he did practice a little bit this week, even though it was limited. But I know folks is tired of that. Like the whole injury thing, we can't prevent it. But when a player is just coming back, speaking of coming back, Aaron Rodgers is still swearing he's coming back next month, y'all. And next month is what? In 2 weeks. I think it's probably going to be like towards the end of December. Who knows when he's coming back? But he's out there walking around with a cane. He's making his own way. So we wish him the best. We definitely wish all these players the best as they try to get better at what they're doing. Let's talk about the matchups coming up for the week 12, which kicks off tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day. The first game is going to be at 12:30, you guys. And so I guess right while you're finishing up your cooking, you can go ahead and start tuning into those games. Y'all know the Cowboys is playing. They never miss Thanksgiving. They're definitely going to be there. And it starts at 12:30 with the Packers versus the Lions. So it was a short week for Dan Campbell and crew. They're already matching up with Green Bay. And that is another NFC North matchup as well. They have a little rivalry going with them. Who y'all got in that game? Drop that in the comments. I would say Lions all the way all day, but we see how Chicago almost pulled up on them. Another NFC matchup is tomorrow afternoon, 4:30. Those Cowboys, 4:30 Eastern Standard Time against the Washington Commanders. Sam Howell. I don't think they're going to try to drop 2 in a row. And I really miss those days when the Panthers would play the Cowboys and we would win. One year we played on Thanksgiving and we ended Tony Romo's career. He had just come back and it was like one hit and he quit. But we like Tony. He's a great commentator and we like everybody. But that's what happened, y'all. I watched it. It's been a few years, but it happened. Now, tomorrow night at 8:20, I'm sure you'll be done eating. So before you get that nap, make sure you catch tomorrow night's football at 8:20. 49ers versus the Seahawks. Who y'all got in that? I think the 49ers are just going to really continue to get it done. And then Friday afternoon, they're giving us another hold on. Not another, you guys. This is going to be the first Black Friday NFL game. Dolphins and Jets at 3 o'clock. So you get a chance to sleep in, recuperate from all that cooking and probably cleaning up after your dinner and go ahead and catch that game at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then, college football is on the weekends. Sunday kicks off at 1 o'clock. Tampa Bay versus the Indianapolis Colts at 1 p.m. The New England Patriots versus New York Giants. It's an up top matchup, you guys. Steelers and Bengals. AFC rivalry at its finest. Hopefully no fights pick off. Hopefully there's no trash being thrown on the field. The typical stuff we see between Pittsburgh and the Bengals. That game is at 1 o'clock as well, guys. Panthers are traveling to Tennessee, to Nashville to take on the Titans. I hope we can get a win, you guys. I hope we are like one game. One game, that's it. And I don't know if I already said this or not because I had to restart this stream because it wasn't matriculating on all my platforms. This is our sixth straight losing season. As of the last game we lost, it has been determined since the Tepper transition, we have now lost 6 seasons. It is also difficult to be a Panthers fan. So y'all pray for us. We really, really need it. I mean, seriously, we need it. Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Texans will also commence at 1 p.m. And in the South, the NFC South, the rivalry of the South, the Atlanta Falcons will be hosting the New Orleans, Saints down here as they also observe the 50th anniversary to hip hop. And the Mercedes-Benz Stadium is going to be lit. They are already saying that T.I., Quavo, Gucci, a whole bunch of hip hop and rap legends all over Atlanta are going to be in the place on Sunday as they observe the 50th anniversary of hip hop, which goes hand in hand with rap. So, not only that, those two teams are going to be playing for the top position of the South, at least of the South. The Falcons have dropped a little bit, but they're not that far behind the Saints, especially with Tampa Bay having taken their recent loss. So we'll just keep it there. So if you can, be in the A, go ahead and go over there and get turned up. It is going to be lit, I promise you. So for no other reason, just go for the litness. You know what I'm saying? Rams and Cardinals are facing off at 4:05. The Browns and Broncos, another rivalry, is also going to be out in the Midwest at 4:05. And you guys, Bills and Eagles are facing off at 4:25. And the Chiefs and Raiders, 4:25 for another West Coast matchup that they also have their own rivalry. And Lamar and company are hosting the Chargers on Sunday Night Football at 8:20. And on Monday night, another matchup within a division, NFC North, Chicago Bears and Minnesota Vikings. Now, I would ask you guys, do you think the Vikings are just going to pull it off? I don't know, because the Bears actually almost pulled up on Dan Campbell and them. So with that being said, they definitely look like, they're getting a little flavor back. And I always tell you guys, this is the time of season that everybody is trying to solidify their little half-life into the playoffs, into the postseason, and we can see how that goes. Now, speaking of solidifying, even though there's been a lot of injuries in the AFC North, DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, got that win. It was questionable as to whether or not he should have been superseded over P.J. Walker as the starting quarterback in the absence of Deshaun Watson, but he got it win. And that young man, they said he had just celebrated his birthday, 24 years old, and he was crying tears of joy. Can you imagine? No better birthday gift than that, than to be thrown into the first position of your team and to solidify the win during your birthday week. So congratulations to you, DTR, and congratulations to that team. We're switching gears now over to college football. I told you guys I'd be incorporating that in, and we're going to start off with the top 10 college rankings coming up right now. Number 10, Louisville. Didn't know they were going to be there, but here they are. Number 9, Mizzou. No shock. Mizzou's been moving up the line for a little bit, and they're looking good. Number 8, Nick Saban is steadily striving and pulling at cords. Bama. Number 7, Texas. Number 6, Oregon. Those Ducks just won't stop quacking. Number 5, Florida State. Now, I'll come back to that in just a minute. Number 4, Washington. Number 3, out of the Big Ten, Michigan, minus Jim Harbaugh, their assistant coaching company getting it done. They don't care. They're still pulling all the way up. And right ahead of them is the Ohio State. Number 2 position for them. And are you shocked at number 1? Those dogs. You can't keep a dog down. Kirby and his dogs. Number 1, UGA. Congratulations to them. And we wish Brock Bowers, who is the beast of that team, the best, because looks like he's facing some surgery. But I will tell you guys, Kirby's backup and his backup and his backup from his recruitment, it's like those guys don't miss a beat. Speaking of missing a beat, Florida State is going to be taking on Florida for their rivalry coming up this weekend. Michigan, the number 2 and number 3 positions in the rankings, are playing each other. Michigan versus the Ohio State on Saturday. That is going to be all the way live. And so it shall be. Now, let's get into a little other college football. Let me give a small shout out real quick. Benedict College, undisputed, number one, undefeated team. Going to the playoffs. My girl, Willetta Childs Jones, who is a Pantherette, told me her son is a redshirt freshman on his team. And for the first time, they'll be playing Virginia Union. They are undefeated. So congratulations to MJ, redshirt freshman, playing, getting it done out there with Benedict. And we wish you nothing but the best going forward. These young men getting it done. Speaking of young men getting it done, did y'all hear about the drama with Prime now? So one of his players, I'll tell you guys who in just a second, has come out and basically went on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever he is. They're always on something, tweeting something. Basically, after Colorado has now eliminated themselves from bowl eligibility, he's like, hey, if y'all had did what you were supposed to do and not show favoritism, long story short, we would probably be undefeated. Who is this young man? Give me 1 second, I'll tell you guys. He has gone on all these platforms and basically said that favoritism was shown by Deion, shown by Shedeur. You know, like basically, if you're not part of that family, you know how Deion always came out and said, you know, leaders and then dogs. He had the L's and the D's on their shirt. Well, according to this young man, that's just not how it's going, and he's just not with it. So I'm gonna tell you guys who it is in one tick. This young man's name is, and I hope I pronounce it right, Kavosiey Smoke, Kavosiey, Kavosiey Smoke. He's calling out Deion Sanders and coaches over selfish playing. He's saying that he's specifically talking about Shedeur, saying that him and Shiloh and Travis Hunter and Coach Prime, you know, they're not like they got to respond to this. He's basically saying, you know, simple fact, bro. This is his quote. We could have went undefeated this year. Too much selfish ball going on. Man can't win like that. Got to play and win as a team. But if you go the other route, you get results like this. So it sounds like all is not well out there in Primeville, but to true Colorado fans, Buffalo fans, sans all the hip hop and, you know, all the star-studded performances and all the folks that's been out there with him, Colorado did better this year than they did last year. So with that being said, I guess, you know, kudos to them. And like he always says, the transfer portal is open. And he said his recruit game is going to be strong. So we shall see how that all pans out. Speaking of all panning out, there is some other college news coming up right now that I need to tell you guys about. There are a lot of big games going on this weekend and a lot of college predictions coming out. Now, they're trying to see, because you guys know that big bowl is coming up on December 2nd with Alabama and Georgia down here in Atlanta. People are actually putting bets. Now, the professionals say Georgia is going to win, but real haters, for lack of a better word, are saying they cannot wait for Georgia to be uprooted because they feel like, okay, no team is going for the trifecta. It's definitely not going to be Kirby. They definitely don't want to be in any of that. And so what else is there to really do? You know what I'm saying? But we shall stay tuned. Now, this weekend, we have some other games going on. Utah State versus New Mexico. UTSA at Tulane. Ohio is going to be at Akron. Oregon State, the Ducks, we talk about them, how they look. Everybody's having these big games. And Penn State, Michigan State, Texas Tech, and Texas prediction. So it's a lot of interstate matchups going on this week that people are just like, wow, that's big. You know, that's huge. So we just have to see how things play out. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to erase some graphics that are coming up here. So drop in your comments who you got this week. I feel like that Ohio State-Michigan game is going to be absolutely big. It's going to be probably a nail biter. I feel like it's going to be close. And Michigan's linebacker coach, Chris Partridge, got himself fired for investigating with it and interfering with the investigation that they were doing with Jim Harbaugh. So I don't know what he did. They weren't specific, but they don't have a linebacker coach right now. But it looks like they're still getting it done. Um, let's look at some college games across the news that are actually coming up so that we can see who your team may be that I may not have mentioned. So we got tomorrow night, actually, week 13 of 15. Mississippi State is going to be playing Mississippi. Iowa is playing Nebraska on Friday at 12. So this is for you football heads who just like, okay, I watched the NFL, but I got to watch all this other stuff too. And TCU is playing Oklahoma on Friday at noon. You got Rutgers that is going to be playing coming up. You got Notre Dame. You got all the big teams are going to be playing this week, and your team, no doubt, is definitely going to be up there. So right now in certain conferences, Tulane is still undefeated. SMU, all of the smaller league, UAB, those are all in the same league. But all these people will be definitely playing coming up. Now, this is a short episode because I was already on for 30 minutes, but I did do the recap and I condensed it. So for the sake of time tonight, because I know I should have been already off at this time. Let me go ahead and thank some people real quick. And please make sure that you guys be safe during the Thanksgiving holiday. I want to give a shout out to my platform, Mac and Linda, over at Northeast Streaming Sports Productions, your personal sports network. Make sure you download this channel on Roku. Shout out to Kay at Couture Nails and Stonecrest for my nails. And shout out to Katrina Harris at Beauty and Brows by Katrina. She's on Instagram, and all these will be in there. And I just want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight. This is All Things Football from a Lady's Perspective. Follow me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for all of your NFL and college news. Everybody have an amazing Thanksgiving. Be safe. Enjoy your time with family and friends, and be blessed. Good night.